Morning of day 2. I woke up at about 2 this morning to the sound of rain. Had to close the windows. It was a little bit of a test for a couple of things. I was happy the awning held up and didn't destroy itself on me. The little fan that I've got for my window, I thought if I put it up on the passenger side under the awning that it might not get water in it. Well, it did still get a little bit in there, so it didn't quite work to plan. Wasn't too much, but there's still water got in. The pot over the back held up fine, but the gazebo didn't. I'm guessing the water pooled a little bit too much on this last night, and she said, no, I'm not sticking with that and I'm not putting up with it. So yeah, all the firewood still got wet, which was a bitch. The amount of water that's in that would have just squashed it and soaked everything, I'm guessing. And I've broken my gazebo again. That's even pulled the peg out down here. Literally pulled the peg out of the ground, but I guess when the ground's wet. So yeah, I felt the legs are okay, but the crossbars are all stuffed on this side. I've got more of them at home, so I can fix that when I get it back home, but still a pain in the ass. Now to dry it out, try and straighten it up a little bit and get it upright again while I wait for my coffee. Quite pretty out here of a morning though when everything's wet like this. And when you're waking up to that sound, raindrops and birds. There's a bunch of little birds up in the tree up here. Alrighty, so I've decided, seeing as though the weather's sort of holding off at the moment, fingers crossed it'll hold off all day, I'm going to get started and I'm going to go do the first walking trail. Now, from memory, this walking trail is called the Wildflower Loop Trail, and it starts up just near the Pines picnic area. So I'll grab my stick and we'll get moving. Okay, so we've come up to this little section here. The Pines picnic area is just down the bottom there. And there's a couple of trails. There's a dirt trail there that leads back through almost to my camp, or towards my camp. There's another little walking trail at the top here, so I'll head to this one. I believe this is the correct trail anyway. I'm not 110% sure on it, but pretty sure it is. And some spiny muckrush. So as you can see, there's a pretty clearly defined trail here. I'm guaranteeing it's going to be fucking overrun by little spiders and shit. Obviously a few birds through, so I need to go through pretty quietly if I can, so as to get to see as much of the wildlife as possible. It's a pretty narrow, worn trail. I'm going to take into assumption that this gets regularly used by motorbikes. Looking at the marks on the side of the trail there, I reckon my assumption's pretty correct. Another spiderweb. Bloody things are everywhere. Trail is very wet today, thanks to the rain that we had overnight. But that was pretty well to be expected. These little spider webs, they're tiny little webs, they're bloody everywhere at the moment. I don't know if they're your typical golden orb weaver spider that we find around everywhere, or what they are, but they are absolutely everywhere lately. Okay, so I've just come across this section here where the track forks. Now from what I can see on the maps and everything, it almost looks like the track goes in a figure 8, therefore crosses upon itself some way. I'm guessing that's probably this spot. However, the part that seems a little bit strange is that I haven't found, where this crosses the road, I haven't found another path through. So I don't know if it just forks and splits, or if it does eventually loop and come back to here. I don't have my phone on this, so I can't have a look at the maps there and see what they say. But we'll keep walking. There's not a lot of flowers around here on here at the moment. A lot of remnants of flowers, lots of seed pods and things like that. Definitely lots of banksia. Banksias are everywhere through here. But I'm guessing, given that it's February, late summer, not that you'd think it by the weather. I'm just hearing a noise. Kangaroo or something through here, I think. Yeah, given it's late summer, not that you'd think of it by the weather. I'd say most of the flowers have died off now and all gone to seed. As you can see, the banksias are everywhere. It sounds like the main road. Sounds like I'm close to something. I wonder if I'm heading back to the Pines picnic area from here. It's possible, I guess. Maybe it sort of loops back on itself that way. If so, I'll have to do the other end a little bit later. These tiny spider webs, I swear they're a pain in the arse. You don't see them anywhere until you're right on top of them. And then you cop them in the face. Alright, camera off, I'm going to keep walking. I've just come across this. What a bloody ant mound that is. It's almost as tall as I am. Oh, seriously, that's standing right up next to it, and that is almost as tall as me. Massive ant mound. I'm starting to do a little bit of a descent. And there's the Pines picnic area over there. So I was right, this one comes back around. I needed to go left on that other segment of trail. Far out. bloody spiderwebs are driving me nuts, I tell you. You can hear a bit of a banging noise as I'm walking too. It's because I've got a walking stick and I'm tapping the ground as I go to deter any reptilians that may be hanging around. Don't particularly fancy being bitten by a snake this weekend. Alright, so here we are. As I said, there's the Pines picnic area. Wouldn't even really notice that there was much of a trail here, but there is. So that's half the wildflower walking trail. I'm going to have to go back in a little while and do the other half. A bit of sun coming out now too, which is nice. Nice and glary for you there. So here's the other entrance. It's just in near the toilets there. Again, Pines picnic area is up in here. That's a day use area. You're not allowed to camp in there. There's a few little fire pits in there and stuff like that, but you're not allowed to camp in it. It's just a simple day use barbecue area. Pretty little spot though. When I come through tomorrow or whenever and do the next trail, that will be starting and finishing in amongst here. So alrighty, I'm going to head back down towards the other entrance. Might go back in and see how I go finally or following the other end. Yeah, I'll follow it and come back from the other way. I want to do the whole loop while I've got the chance. There's actually remnants of blue sky up through the trees here, which is good. Weather might be clearing, hopefully. Alright, stop rambling and keep walking. Okay, so I was just walking back to the start of the wildflower walking trail, and I noticed this other spot up here you can camp, and upon entry I've noticed this. Quite sad. I didn't know there was a memorial for somebody down here, but may they rest in peace. I'm guessing somebody's come in and they've spread their ashes down in here, and what a beautiful place to do so. Alright, so here I am again at the start of the wildflower walking trail. I'm going to head back in this way, turn left at that that junction and see where that takes me. If it takes me where I think it is, it'll take me on that dirt trail that I walked yesterday. Now, I have just spotted as well, there's another entrance to the trail here. So if my calculations are right, maybe it will bring me back out here. If not, I might come back later and do that one as well, just see where that goes. Alright, time to walk. Alrighty, so here we are back at that junction point. Went right last time, brings you out near the Pines picnic area. Back to the Pines picnic area. This time, I'm going left. So what we got up here? Other than more spider webs. It definitely looks a bit more overgrown coming this way. Maybe a road less travelled. You know what, that's part of the fun of getting out in the bush. It's following the road less travelled. Okay. So, I was about right. This is where I walked yesterday. So now I know the next entrance to the track is down this end. According to a lot of the maps though, it travels across on this side of the track. But when I was walking yesterday, I can't find any path leading out that way. So I'm putting it down that either it's just been left to overgrow, people haven't travelled it at all, or maps aren't 100%, which, especially going off the VMS, I'd say the maps aren't 100%. Okay, here we are at that next trail, which again I believe this will be the one that takes me out to that second little section of trail I found you. So, as for it being a figure 8, I don't think that's quite right. I think you've got sort of one loop and then another single piece coming off it. Just trying to dodge this bloody water. I'd rather not have wet shoes. Maybe I should have worn the boots. Spiderweb on my leg. Yeah, maybe I should have worn the boots, but too bad. So yeah, as I was saying, I think this brings us back out near the original entrance. So again, not a lot of wildflowers out here at the moment, but being that it is late summer, I guess it's to be expected. It's the 2nd of February today. So I guess pretty much everything now has grown and sprouted and flowered, seeded, done what it does. I'm going to shut up and just keep walking so you can enjoy the quiet. These spiderwebs are shooting me though. And it's going to be the sign for the week. And as suspected, that's where it brings me back out. Thought so. That was a nice little walk. Well, that was the wildflower walking trail. I hadn't seen it before. I knew roughly where it started and finished and whatnot, but I haven't done that trail before, so that was a first for me. It was a nice little trail. It's not overly long, not difficult. A fair bit of water laying on the track, as you saw, but otherwise it was a pretty decent little track. I think coming through in spring, when everything's actually in flower, would be absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, the padge was off the road most of spring and most of summer, so I didn't get up here to have a look. So yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. That looks like a leech on my shoe. Yeah, it's a leech on my shoe. I'll be getting rid of that in a second. Yeah, so it wasn't a difficult trail. Not a heck of a lot to see. Definitely, if you come through in spring or something like that, when things are in flower a lot more, it'd be amazing. But for now, yeah, she's pretty tame. Still a beautiful little walk though. All right. I'm going to kick back, get rid of this leech that's sucking into my shoe. Thank God it's not into my leg. And I'll talk to you soon.